mother is endangered. Under those circumstances, abortion is actually permitted.
With abortion, even this Margaret Senga said for her she cannot support abortion because it is a means of discontinuing one's life.
Girls are actively having sex, and you should be aware of that. And as a result, they are having unwanted pregnancies, whether you like it or not.
You can do a safe abortion, and a lady or a girl will have even 20 children once the abortion is done in a very safe way.
But I don't think there is safe abortion, because in the end, if it does not affect you immediately, it will affect you later on.
I will begin this discussion by introducing some of our invited guests tonight, and I will begin right away from my left. Pastor Morrison Male is the Executive Director of Raising for Christ Ministry. Pastor Solomon Male is also leader of Coalition Against Homosexuality and Sexual Abuses. I also have Mr. Richard Abala, Vice Chairperson, National Council, Uganda, representative to the World Assembly of the Youth. On my right, he's from actually the Gender Ministry. I was given to him by Mr. Chateka, Mondo Chateka. We have Oluka Simon, National Secretariat for Patriotism Office of the President, Youth Desk Coordinator. Thank you, sir, for coming. Then we have Madam Kitonto Asimwe from UBC, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. That's the national broadcaster on my left. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's debate is simple. We have had about 21% of abortions go bad because simply some of these girls do it where they are not in their state of mind. They are trying to quake it. It's not open. They can't do it open. The doctors themselves are a bit quaking. They are fearing if it goes bad, they will be arrested, and it's against the law to make an abortion. There are some circumstances under which the Constitution allows an abortion in Uganda, which I am sure my colleague is well versed with, who will be presenting the paper. But generally in Uganda, it's illegal to make an abortion. And the topic is simple. Abortion should be legalized in Uganda. What is your opinion? I would like to begin with my colleague from the Ministry of Gender, Mr. Richard Abala.
Thank you, moderator, and fellow participants in tonight's debate. Like I've been introduced, my name is Richard Abala, the Vice Chairperson of the National Youth Council of Uganda, and I also represent the youth of Uganda in the World Assembly of Youth in Malaysia. On this topic of when abortion should be legalized in this country, I want to first start by saying that this is a very deeply emotional issue, not just in our country, but even across the world. Something that deeply affects people, and many people have experiences to do with this. On a personal note, I come from Karamoja. When I was, my mother, she's still alive, but was a teenage mother. And people told her to abort her kid at that time. It would have been me. And initially she was about to accept, but finally she said, no, I think I need to have my child. That's why I'm here. And also I'm a Catholic, and so my faith is against abortion. But then again, when we look at the reality in our country today, we have over 1,500 girls who die of unsafe abortions annually. A half of the pregnancies that we are having in this country are those that are unintended by women. And more than a third of those pregnancies end up in abortion. And the law, of course, is clear. The law of the land today does not permit abortion. But in certain circumstances, abortion is acceptable. And in my personal view is that under those circumstances where it endangers the life of a woman during pregnancy, and under those circumstances where it endangers the physical and mental health of a mother, for me, I would really concur that under such circumstances, abortion could be allowed. And this is what the law of our land is also saying. And of course, the truth is that there is a reality out there. There is a moral question of whether we should really have abortion. But the reality is that, as the moderator stated earlier on, there are so many people who are aborting in very clandestine ways because the penal code is very clear. So we are having a lot of unsafe abortions, and we are losing so many kids who would have been there for the future. So in my case, I want to propose that under these extreme circumstances, and there is a reason why I'm saying that when it endangers the life of a mother, we could allow abortion. Because there is a debate ongoing that at what point does life start? There are those who will argue that it starts at conception. There are those who will argue that this unborn fetus largely benefits from the body of the mother, the liver of the mother, whether it's the lungs. So it's the mother that is actually feeding this. So under circumstances where you are, take an example, where you are given a choice to donate your kidney to somebody, or if you don't do that, then you will die. If you donate it, you will die. What do you do? So I think under such circumstances, I want to agree that it is really permissible if somebody has been raped, for instance, and they don't want to keep that child. But broadly speaking, something that I think will unite our discussion. Why should we bring a child into this world when we are not willing to look after this child? So we should also need to address the causes of abortion, really. Can we have a discussion? Can we address those issues that lead us to having abortion, or women to having abortion? For instance, you find that people who have ended up in drug abuse, and at the end of the day, you are drinking and you dropped out of school, for instance, you don't seem to see a future in life. You meet this gentleman, you're not ready actually to settle with them. So it's a question of the moment. So I'm saying broadly, that's what we should address. And secondly, under circumstances, now where I agree with this, is under circumstances where the life of a mother is actually threatened. And there I think it's really necessary, and it's in tandem with the law of the land. For instance, if it would endanger the mental and the physical health of a mother, abortion is allowed under our constitution.
Thank you so much. I made your point. Thank you so much, Mr. Salo. I have my colleague, Mr. Kato Mukasa. Kato Mukasa is a humanist activist, and a lawyer based in Kampala. He is also an executive director of Halea and currently the chair of African Working Group under IHEBO. But he's also a chairman of Open Talk Debate. Mr. Kato Mukasa, you can as well give us your opinion. What do you think before I can go to the other side of Mr. Pastor Malay?
Thank you very much, our dear audience. My Pastor Malay, thank you very much for honoring the invitation. Madam Checho and my colleagues the other side. Briefly, the purpose for this debate, I think, is not to say I promote or I support, that is my view, abortion, but I think it's a way of triggering our minds to look at the bigger picture and ask ourselves if we are making the right decisions or not. Okay? Now, I work with an NGO, as I said, and this magazine, we published it in 2013, September. And the topic of this magazine was teens die as they do backstreet abortions. Now, for us, we work with young people. That's why when I was told about this topic, I was very impressed because it was within the area where I've been working quite a number of years. And in this magazine, we are trying to give you stories of children. I call them children because they are below 18 years, who have died doing abortions. But I'm calling them abortions, but actually they are crude, unsafe abortions, and as we call them here, backstreet abortions. Young girls get pregnant. Now in this case I'm talking about young girls because we are working with young people in slum areas. They get pregnant because they fear home. Number one, the parents are going to chase them from home as a result of abortion, getting pregnant. Number two, the schools are going to chase them. Once you get pregnant, you know that no school is going to allow you to study. Number three, the society is going to discriminate them. And number 4, they cannot go to a legalized, an established hospital or clinic to have an abortion. But for them, they want to continue with studies. Now what they are doing is, they do it illegally. They simply go in shops around town, they go to pharmacies and buy medicines, buy tablets. Some of them actually go to traditional birth attendants. They are there in town. I got them in courts because actually you're not supposed to be doing that, but they go there and someone is going to be giving some concoctions. What happens? Bleeding. Some of them have died in the process. Actually, I was a teacher, I was sharing Pastor Mary. Pastor Mary is a good friend of mine. We may disagree sometimes, but I love his lively way of bringing out arguments and education he gives us. I was telling him that I was a teacher, and actually what I didn't tell him, one of the stories is that I had an experience which I document here. A girl bleeding in the middle of the lesson. She had gone to the concoctions and she was almost dying. We had to rush her to a clinic. And unfortunately, she even died still. The school is called Capacity Center. Right then, in Chilford, some of you may know in the school. So we have got these cases. So now, when I looked at this, I said, now, what can we do? Let me give you a few facts why I may have a different view on certain areas. When you look at the reports, on Monday this week, the New Vision had a leading story, and I was actually touched. Because in that story, the youth of Uganda were saying, please, we are dying, legalize abortion. We are government newspaper. So I rushed to look for some facts and find out the situation on the ground. We discovered that today in Uganda, over 775,000 women, and when I say women, I also mean young girls, become pregnant unintentionally. Almost 1,775,000 become pregnant unintentionally. Basically, and I'm going to give my own story. My firstborn was born unintentionally. And many of you may be quiet there. Unintentionally. Now, that's one fact that almost 1 million Ugandans are born unintentionally each year. Number 2, 297,000 illegal abortions are carried out in Uganda annually. That was the figures in the newspapers. 297,000, almost 300,000 are done, illegal abortions done annually. You get illegal abortions. Now, what's so bad here is that 150,000 from that very newspaper of the well researched was shown that 150,000 women in Uganda suffer from abortion-related complications annually. Suffer from abortion-related cases annually, and they are giving these cases medically. They are giving these cases, and they are saying that they include, of course, psychological torture and all that. They include fistula. They include obstructed labor, obstetric fistula, pelvic pelvic inflammatory disease, infertility, embolism, ectopic pregnancy, etc., etc. Those were the medical jargons they are trying to bring in that paper. The effects of unsafe abortions. Now, when I looked further into the report, we are saying that Mulago Hospital receives 10 to 15 women suffering from abortion-related complications every day. 10 to 15 women, Mulago receives them suffering from related abortion complications, and many of these ones die. Because by the time they go to hospital, or they are taken to hospital, like our own case, this is the real case I'm telling you. I had a child dying in front of a class, really. Many of them, by the time they reach Mulago, they are already gone. What happens there? Now, and the same report was saying that abortion is the first killer of women in Uganda. The first killer of women in Uganda. If you want to find out what kills women, abortion is number 4 on the list. And we are saying that 7,200 mothers die yearly. And only 14,000 survive death as a result of an abortion. Only 14,000 out of the almost 300,000 who go through abortions, only 14 can survive. So when I look at those figures,
And the fact that 1 million teenagers get pregnant every year. These are reports, these are figures, you can always find out. 1 million teenagers are getting pregnant every year. And they are saying in the report that 40% do abortion. 40%. But remember, abortion is illegal, therefore they do illegal abortions. And all of them end up dying. Let me give you the legal framework briefly. The Constitution, if you look at the Constitution, Article 22, of course says abortion is legal. And they are saying life must be protected and no one should terminate an unborn child. But they are putting something which I want you to think about. And they are saying, except as may be authorized by the law. You get it? So as we say, yes, it's illegal, it's illegal. The question is saying, except as may be authorized by the law, which means there is a provision in the law which can allow a woman to do an abortion. That's the Constitution. But they go ahead and give you the conditions. If you look at what happens, they give you conditions under the law. Of course, they are saying, for example, if a woman is sick and cannot hold the baby, and the doctors prove that she cannot hold the baby, she has the right to remove that child. You get it? For example, they are saying, but what is complicating this issue is that they are saying that before a medical doctor carries out that abortion exercise, a medical team must sit and approve whether that case really is what? Genuine. Now the question was, when I was reading this, if a woman is dying, and we are saying a medical team must sit and prove this, whether it's true or not. When the woman died in the process of waiting for a medical team to sit, it was my word. The law accepts under certain conditions, but they are still saying a medical team must sit and approve before you go ahead and carry out what? An abortion. And the way they are framing this, they are saying women, which means for me who works with young people, they are still left out. That is my concern by them, because I've seen them dying. Going to fake doctors in courts, going to fake traditional birth attendants, buying bad drugs because they are not guided. And my question was, okay, they're talking about women, they can be excused under certain circumstances. My question was, how about these young girls who are having sex, who are getting pregnant, and they are aborting anyway, and they are dying? What can we do to help them? Now, when you look at the 2006 National Policy Guidelines and Service Standards for Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights, they are saying in that paper that pregnancy termination is permissible in cases of fetal anomaly. This is what they are saying, that 2006 National Policy Guidelines report. In case of fetal anomaly, rape, and incest, or if the woman has HIV. Okay? So, as we talk about legalization or non-legalization, let us also look at what the existing law says. They are giving you some conditions when a woman, and they are talking about a woman, rape, defilement, incest, if you got your sister pregnant, or your father got your sister pregnant, they are saying, okay, let us have them out. And they are saying, in the case of HIV, if a woman cannot sustain her HIV status plus having a pregnancy. Okay? So they are giving scenarios when actually you can have an abortion. But my question has been always, because I work with young people, how about the teenagers? How about girls below 18? That was where my concern was. Now, when you look at, I've told you how a doctor must write to the Director General of Medical Services before she can or he can carry out an abortion. And here I was saying, the time lag there, is it enough to go and ask the medical team to allow you to do this? Now, I have some questions I want to ask and think about. Don't answer me now, but as you debate, I think about them. I'm asking. Now, when does the human being be regarded to have rights? In other words, when does life begin? You may help me, the pastor here, I'm happy here, you give us the legal approach.
Life begins when you're born.
Whatever, I don't want to answer now, but people can think about them as they sound it. When does life begin? And if a child, let me say a fetus, that's the medical word, is in a woman's stomach, when does that fetus begin to have rights? Those are the questions. I have some answers from the legal part of it, but I won't go into them. But I want you to think and then give us the best debate. Can we say a fetus of 6 months 1 week, 2 weeks, 8 months has the same rights? That's one of the questions I want you to think about. Now, can we also talk about a fetus vis-a-vis the mother in terms of rights? The one carrying it in terms of rights. The mother has her own rights, not so. But also, you are not telling me that also the fetus has its own rights. Now, what if the mother's rights outweigh that of the fetus? Or the fetus' right can outweigh that of the mother. What can we take as the absolute rights? That's another thing I have to think about as you give me your arguments. Now, I want to another question I'm also posing. Does an abortion of this unborn fetus tantamount to murder? Can we say it's murder? Yes, and as in law, we define murder in a different way. They are ingredients, we call them ingredients. Most of you know them. Yeah? What tantamounts to murder? Human being? Yeah? Is animal be killed? Not so. Now we ask, the fetus a human being? Is it allowed to remove it? So these are things I want to think about as you give us your points. Perhaps they may give us a very good debate. Now, I've talked about the medical effects of this, and I've given you all that medical figures will give us: the fistula problems, the ectopic pregnancies, the obstructed labor, and all that stuff, the psychological torture, but also the costs. The research was showing that to carry out an abortion in Uganda, which is actually unsafe, okay, you need $130 to carry it out. An abortion which is actually illegal, and that's the minimum is about 0.3 shillings to carry an abortion. Now we're asking, if it's even illegal and you have to pay that much, don't you think by not having measures to help young girls who unfortunately find themselves pregnant, perhaps they are raped?
So they can make it legal so that they can even get that free service from Lagos?
Yes, I'm not thinking aloud. Because it's a debate, okay? Not thinking aloud. Perhaps we may have a lot for now. Before we have a lot for and I conclude, let me give you these views. But I'm going to ask them, give you my own views in a lot of questions. Now, I have discovered, I've said we have been doing research as an organization. It's very bad. Exams are bad. In Chimburu, in Islam area, people are dying and they don't want people dying. So I will ask myself, what can we do to stop unwanted pregnancies? Okay, this is my concern. Because I have discovered that abortions come as a result of unwanted pregnancy. So I'm asking, what can we do as a team, as policymakers, as a government, as social workers? What can we do to avoid unwanted pregnancies? Because it's a precursor to abortion. Can we, like in this magazine I was suggesting, can we take sex education in schools so that children can know about sex? They can avoid having sex, that's one. Or if they have sex, in case they have sex, because anyone who is below 18 is a child, not so. 17 years people are having sex, 15 years are having sex. Can we have a way of protecting them in case they are having sex, even when we don't agree with them, so that they can have condoms, for example, so that they can have pills, for example, and avoid having unwanted pregnancies? But what is happening today is that in schools, you will never talk about condoms, you will never say condom, you will never say pill. But children are having sex, and they are getting pregnant. And of course, because they are pregnant, they are aborting. So can we have these contraceptives in schools? Perhaps among teenagers, even if they are out of school. Number two, can we make men responsible? Because once a woman gets pregnant, a man says it's your business. It's not me. Yet it takes two to make a child. Also, how can we make men responsible so that they don't say it's a woman's affair? It's not about the woman. How can we make these women also, men also be responsible in the case of pregnancy, so that men and women can have a choice to keep a child, whether I have a support from the opposite sex. I was also thinking, and I'm still thinking, that because it's a problem we have, and it's part of us, does it harm us? Pastor, give me his view. Does it harm us if we allowed some clinics with specialists, doctors? In Europe, they call them abortion clinics. They are there. Now, these are people who are well trained, they are gynecologists and all that. And these clinics are there. They are known. There are not so many. They are known. People simply go there under condition that they cannot avoid, and they have what? Abortion. Can we perhaps have a change of law which can accept some few clinics to save lives? After all, people are having abortions, even when we don't accept swab. If we want to save lives, yes, that is okay. To save lives, that's very much okay. But can you have measures like the European Society does? In Europe, of course, you know, they have money, which we don't have. They have a European system where if you don't manage a child, the state comes in to help you manage what? A child. Now, I'm asking, can our government reach that extent of helping all these unwanted babies? So that it's not about our social workers and charity. It's also a role of what? Government. The government takes care of them. If you want to protect life, be it. But who's going to protect this life? Who's going to empower this life? Who's going to educate? Who's going to feed this unwanted what? Child. Conclusion. I'm saying that it's not also fair for us men, and most cases it has been men, me and you and others, who say, no, women must not abort our children. Yes, if we are saying so, as men, can we take charge? Can we be responsible? Can we be there for our women? Can we give assurances of this unborn child? If we fail as men who have made these women conceive, can they also therefore say, let us allow them to have choice over their bodies? Perhaps do what they want to do with the fetus. Because after all, as men, somehow we fail to take care of our own unborn. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kato, Chairman of Open Talk Debate, Chairman of Human Halea. Gentlemen on the podium, welcome with me, Mr. Pastor Barry Solomon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I feel privileged, honored, and of course humbled to be with you. It's a challenge, and of course unfortunate, that we can have such a topic, such a debate in a country which subscribes 80% to Christianity, 15% to Islam, and 5% to traditional, purely traditional moral values. It's unfortunate we can have such a debate. Do people know what they are talking about? Or they simply mumble or mama, or talk because they want to talk? I'm 52 years old. I have a personal experience of a tragedy of an abortion. On a day like this in 1984, my own sister, Mary, passed away after committing an abortion. Of course, they went with doctor, they did it medically, but of course, she developed complications. She was hospitalized in acute care. It's called intensive care ward, Mulago. I went there and saw her. If she was alive today, she would be my next in my father's family. She was the firstborn of my stepmom, and first, the next after me, I'm the firstborn of my father. She was the secondborn of my father. We lost her. 10th October 1984. Or not even like this, we were holding a vigil in my father's home in Uganda. You talk of abortion. Everything was done to save her life. It was all in vain. In Mulago, I worked at Mwanamujimu. Mwanamujimu, I got a shock of my life. They accuse medics of corruption, but I think we need to really stand with the medics. They work in very awkward circumstances. We have these politicians in parliament simply swimming in cash, doing nothing. They say what people want to hear, not what benefits the people. They are not leaders, they are actually rulers. They are embedded in the national economy, and they survive at the expense of the betterment of the masses. In Mwanamujim, I met many young girls. They've fallen victims to border riders, drivers of taxis, kamunyes, chapati sellers, mandazi, chapati, and the men who are totally useless as men, impregnated them, dumped them, and we have children suffering in Mulago because the parents cannot take charge. I got so bad and I said, probably if I had the resources, I would come in and support the women who have been impregnated and abandoned by their men. That's why you have Mwanamujim full of children. Children who have been neglected by the country, left at the hands of the medics in Mulago. They prescribe tests which the mothers cannot afford. And eventually the medics make contributions one by one. They raise the money, they get the test. Then it comes to the medicines. They are not there in Mulago. They are in clinics, they are in pharmacies, which are owned by people paid by the government. Isn't that thuggery? Isn't that thuggery? I think we need to address the issues, not to simply jump onto things when you really know the problem or we don't know the problem. And last year, in August, I was invited to counsel. I think she's about 27-year-old woman. She's called me. This young woman, I'm not going to disclose her names as a counselor. Her father was a witch doctor. Her brother deceived her that they were being bewitched and they had family problems. Then he told her that he had gone to a witch doctor and had prescribed medication to solve the problem. Some rituals. And the rituals involved this man putting the so-called medical, the potion on his penis, and then he inserts it into the vagina of the sister. He would do that. The girl was a student. She agreed, being manipulated, being deceived, and she ended up getting pregnant. After getting pregnant, he started suffering. Of course, the brother eventually, they talked of an abortion, and the girl resisted. Then eventually she agreed. She had no alternative. The brother had the money. So they took her for an abortion. The doctor performed it so well and was finished. She recovered so well and so fast. After that abortion, she started getting nightmares. How she had done it, how the fetus came out. She would shout. She would cry. She would be traumatized. Time later, the brother mysteriously disappeared. Up to now, 10 years down the road, they don't know where he is. Probably he died. No burial grounds. She eventually dropped out of school, disturbed. She didn't know if she'll ever produce a child. She had had a man, but whenever she would be having sex, she would remember the abortion and how it all started. And then she would lose interest. And soon the man would sleep with a dead corpse. The woman who's not responding in bed. So the relationship broke. So I counseled her. She cried and cried and cried and cried. I wish you people who are advocating for abortion. I've handled cases of women and young women who have committed abortions and they regret why they did it. You get out to the fetus, but the consequences are more tragic than a woman carrying the fetus 9 months and then delivering it. I think what we should be saying that is, if someone has a pregnancy which she does not want, how can we encourage that person to quit? We know she does not want it. How do we take charge of that child? Rather than saying, let us allow them to abort. Now, probably you are talking about abortion which you don't understand. Let me educate you a bit about abortion. When we talk of abortion, we mean termination of a pregnancy by expulsion or removal of the embryo or fetus from the uterus, okay, before it forms into a baby in the womb. Are we together? Because it's a baby when it is out of the womb. When it is not yet out of the womb, we don't regard it as a baby, because you don't know what will be born.
It's a fetus.
It's a fetus. It's a baby when it is born. Now, abortion may occur on its own, and if it does, it's a miscarriage. Miscarriages usually occur, and you know how they torment women. A woman who gets a miscarriage will be traumatized, and that's why we need to encourage counseling. Abortion can be purposely induced. This is where some go to traditional people, doctors, these Mama Muzalisa, some go to well-known medical experts. I know one, I don't know how many abortions he has committed. He's a qualified medical worker, and all he does is he gets the money. He doesn't mind what happens to the aborter. All he's interested in is getting the money. He does not do follow-up counseling. You pay the money. I think a time back they used to do it at around 50,000, but today it's very expensive. Okay, some do it cheaply. So the term abortion mostly commonly refers to the induced abortion of a human pregnancy. If done after viability, after the baby is fully grown, it can be, the parts can be identified, then it's called late termination of a pregnancy. But I don't think there is safe abortion, because in the end, if it does not affect you immediately, it will affect you later on. It may affect you physically, it may affect you emotionally and psychologically. Either way, it affects you. There is no one, no woman, no girl who commits an abortion or gets a miscarriage who does not get post-abortion problems. They may be physical, they may be psychological. We need to educate youth about the dangers of casual sex, abortions, etc., to enable them to take rational decisions. That's one. Educate them, sensitize them about the dangers of casual sex. Teach them to avoid compromising situations. There is nothing for nothing. You eat a man's money, you must give him sex. If you don't give him sex, myopathy is the problem we have, and it's cause for all of these unwanted pregnancies. Most of them.
Well, that's very good note, Pastor Malek.
I'm concluding. Let us promote pregnancy counseling. You've got pregnant. Don't kill yourself. Don't abort. There is still a way. Okay? We should also support victims of rape, victims of defilement, victims of incest. But what do we have as a country? We have total indifference. People suffer on their own. That is foolishness. We should own up the problems that our people face. I've spearheaded the fight against homosexuality. I'm almost like a reject. People can go to Kololo and herald the president as a hero in the fight against homosexuality, but they cannot raise, and they can spend $1 billion shillings in Kololo, but they cannot raise 1 million to support a victim. They think people will eat prayers, will be healed because of prayers, will be helped because of prayers. Prayers without effort in the right direction is daily prayer. And I'm telling you, stop listening to these so-called prayer maestros when they are not ready to offer tangible solutions to the problems that we face as a country. We need to support the victims, and finally, let us not cause more problems under guise of promoting rights by legalizing abortions. Rights are not absolute. I repeat, rights are not absolute. You got the pregnancy, but you don't have the right to terminate it. And that right must not be accorded to you. Because by so doing, you are terminating a life that would be, a Malay that would be, a Katomukasa that would be, a my brother who would be, a Chichoncho who would be, a Museveni who would be, a Kadaga who would be. And most important, a Malay, because it is the Malay, Moses Solomon, who has stood before you, not the Museveni, not the Kadaga. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to promote abortion despite its devastating consequences. And that's why I conclude, let us not even move an inch toward legalizing abortion. Let the status remain only when it is necessary, as the Constitution demands and as the current laws demand. We are not going to solve problems by creating more problems.
Thank you.
That is my take.
Thank you so
So rich in information. We have a gentleman called Oluka Simon, National Secretariat for Patriotism, Office of the President.
This is a very crucial issue, and I don't want us to spend time to discuss it as a cosmetic matter. It is a matter of life and death. I was very touched by the story that you have presented in your views about the young woman who died about 30 years ago as out of abortion. May her soul rest in peace. In my own experience, I'm here to present my personal opinion, my personal perspective on the subject matter. I'm not here to represent the Office of the President or the Secretariat for Patriotism, but I'm here to give my personal opinion about the issue of abortion. 19 years down the road, I lost my mother as a young man, and she died as a result of the failed pregnancy. There had been a debate to terminate that pregnancy. But since I was still young by then, I don't know how it went, but the end result is that she passed on. So, between you and me, the story that you've given and the experience that I have, we should both find common ground. We should both find a mutual solution so that you, who bears pain 30 years ago up to now because of losing a sister, and me, who lost a mother, I think both of us have find a common ground so that we find a solution to mitigate this problem. I don't want to take a lot of time. You have raised pertinent issues, and the lawyer and the chairman of the young people of this country have both raised pertinent issues. So, there are extreme cases. I want to share what you said earlier on, that let this not be a cosmetic issue. Let it not be fashion, that somebody can get pregnant and then say, oh, I have the right, I can remove it. But let it come out of extreme conditions. So, I am not driven by sentiments to root for a law. But what is very important is to save lives. Because since I lost my mother, she was a woman who had other children before. And you know, when a woman is not in a home, that family actually gets destroyed. And that is what happened. I've grown up as a young man, I've gone through very torrid time and experience, and you understand what it means growing without a mother. So, my appeal to the Pastor Male, Madame Chichoncho, and all of us, that let us not discuss this as a cosmetic matter, but let us always hold these discussions to find a common ground. There are other families like mine that have gone through the same experience like me. There are those women who have passed away because of not being probably advised to remove the fetuses which took away their lives, and they have left their families in disarray. So thank you so much. I don't want to speak a lot. I want to allow a mother to come and present her issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Kichocho Asimwe is works at UBC.
Thanks very much, moderator. As they have introduced me, that's my name. I will not talk much because my predecessor has exhausted most of the points. But I will look at in the context of Africans, as Africans, for us we believe that children are a gift and they are a wealth. And it is a manifestation that God created you normal. Men who fail to have children or women who fail to have children, they are a rejected society. As Pastor Mari had talked about it. So once you have children, you are blessed, you are happy. You know that when you go today, you have someone behind. So on that note, I don't support abortion. And as Africans, naturally, we are the co-creators because we are next to God as blacks. Yes. God created once and He gave us the right to co-create. So if you co-create halfway and you commit infanticide, I will call it infanticide, though the human rights organizations are fighting against genocide. But what's the difference? Why do you fight genocide and you promote infanticide? They are all crimes. As we all know, human life begins with conception. That's why we normally advise mothers, those who are ready to conceive, that you should be in your high spirits to have a bouncing offspring. Secondly, I want to bring you to the history of family planning, which was introduced by Margaret Sanger so many years back under the American-British Control League, aiming at stopping production of least fit human beings or race or human beings, and mainly targeting blacks. Because during slave trade, they didn't want slaves to produce. So this lady, she was a nurse. She came up and formed this organization and called it American-British Control League, to kill all those who are least fit to carry on the race, saying that the funds that should be used to raise the standard of our civilization will be diverted to the maintenance of those who should never have been born. That is me and you. So some of us, the Europeans, regard us that we are born unfortunately. In other words, if the population of Africa, Uganda as a whole, or Africa as a whole, if we increase in population, these whites will have nothing to eat. They will have nothing to exploit. As I'm talking, some of you youngsters, you are aiming at marrying whites. But once you marry a white lady, she will occupy your land and bring her ancestors to be part of Uganda, within a short time, you will have no land of your own.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yes, please.
My name is Ola Samuel. I would like to disagree with due respect to what Madam is saying. To the contrary, white women usually prefer to take their husbands who are black to their own country.
Point of inquiry,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
Thank you for your reactions. I like that. You know, when you talk and you see the audience reacting, then they are attentive. So with abortion, even this Margaret Senga said for her she cannot support abortion because it is a means of discontinuing one's life. But when she died in 1959, by 1960, the opportunists had introduced abortion as a measure to control child or population growth. That's how it came in. You need to have that information. And there is an organization called Maristop. That one has specialized in abortions. But we should ask ourselves, where do they take those fetuses? When you do abort, where do they take the fetuses? In China, they eat embryos. When a woman is pregnant, because in China, a woman is allowed to produce 3 children. Beyond that, the embryo is booked. So you go for that abortion, or they induce you, you produce maybe at 6-7 months, and that child is taken and is stored highly. So we should always ask ourselves, where do these doctors, why are they promoting abortions in hospitals? Because we know most of these professionals are agents of colonialism. Where do they take them? You should ask yourselves. Secondly, most of you here, I don't know of your past positions in your families, but if you are beyond 5 and you are the 6th, the 8th, then you wouldn't be existing if you support abortion. And I always believe everything has its time. There are some girls who start fornicating when they are 14, and they reach 38 years before she could even conceive. And another point we customary forgot, girls who get so much in fornication at early stages, they have higher chances of never conceiving in their lives, especially when they are sharing partners. Today you are with John, another day you are with James, another day with Onesimus, another. Yes.
Yes, I'm a Mook Benjamin. Actually, I wanted to inquire from you, from the current speaker, that does Maristop Uganda promote abortion, or do they do actually family planning? I want you to answer that question.
Okay.
I think I was very clear. I said Maristops are specialists in carrying out abortions.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, maybe you can help and inform me.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Ivan Oshavere. I'm a medical personnel. So what happens is that Maristops tends to give a lot of money to family planning, permanent methods like vasectomy, like tube ligation. There they use it to put there a lot of money.
So it's not true that what she's saying, that they deal in these fetuses, that it is not true.
Maristops deals in rendering services that are related to family planning in general. So when you look at family planning, that's also one method is abortion, though we do not so much concentrate on it.
Yeah, you don't so much concentrate, but you do it. Okay, she's right.
So if you have said it, they did in abortion.
And he works there.
Abortion was introduced in 1960 as a method.
Point of information. Okay,
Let us keep things clear. Abortion is when you kill a fetus, when the male organ has already interfused with the female organ and produced a sort of life.
Now, we should differentiate between contraception methods and abortion.
Hold on, yes, now, let's not run out from the truth. I think she's being elaborate. And even the medical expert has actually contributed to her submission. She said these marriage-stock people, they deal with family planning. And he said abortion is one way of family planning, doing the family planning.
My name is Tumwekwa Moses, and I work with Legalized Uganda as a medical representative.
Okay.
We do not know any method of family planning called abortion. However, in any maybe layman's language, we might think that somebody doing an abortion in one way or another is trying family planning. Then when I go to marriage stops, because people will give you reasons why they are aborting. We have looked even at reasons where even the law will allow an abortion. They are very clear. So an abortion in one way or another can be a family planning. However, the family planning methods that are approved by the World Health Organization, abortion is not there. The marriage stops does family planning.
I think we should intensify counseling programs to the teenagers.
I'm Michael Justice, I'm a Nigerian. First of all, I would tell we young men, and even my father here, that if you don't know your history, then I bet you don't know where you are going to. All these things we are arguing here started somewhere. It's a systematic process that was arranged to exterminate the population of you and me, we the blacks. It all started in the National Study Security Memorandum 200. This was a National Study Security Memorandum 200, a document that was organized by Henry Kissinger in 10 December 1974. You go and Google it, you see what the document was all about. And from that day, and on that document, we have abortions and what we are arguing about right now. You understand? That document was strictly to exterminate the third world country. And they listed about 12 countries, and 4 of them, I mean 5 of them, were Africans. My country was involved. You understand? And they introduced the system of abortion and condoms that has affected you and me, that we think is a normal thing to do. If I'm able to change your head, or if I'm able to convince you psychologically, I bet you I can convince you educationally, religiously, and otherwise. That system was really organized to exterminate us. If you come to abortion, I don't know. If you come to really what abortion is all about, I will take you back in 1976 to 1906 under the colonial ruling of King Leopold. He killed over 10 million Congolese, my fellow brothers in Congo. And when this Mary second that you just mentioned, Margaret, very good. The system that she brought was very useful to the white, that from 1973 to 2005, 54 children were killed per hour. That is amounted to 15 million. 15 million. My father asked a question. My fellow brothers, that if had it been your mother aborted you, will you be here saying that you should or we should legalize abortion? We are a national threat to the white folks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't have said it better than you, Mr. Justice Akile from Nigeria. Okay, let me thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, the moderator. My name, once again, is Tumwekwa Moses. and I work with Legalized Uganda as a medical representative. I will be brief and precise on this debate, which says, should abortion be legalized? And my position is abortion should be legalized. All the discussants here, especially our godfather, Pastor Malay, have talked about the disadvantages of unsafe abortions. Most of their discussions, they were talking about the casualties they have made. All such things happen because of unsafe abortions.
In fact, there I agree with you, because I started by reading a document that in 2003 they made a research and concluded that 21% of unsafe abortions are responsible for death. 21%.
Yes.
And safe abortions.
So all the safe abortions that are done, you will have less than 5% of the fetus the pastor has been talking about. If a pregnancy is done very well, maybe if there is any complication that results from that surgical procedure, is given medical attention. He has talked about unsafe abortion. So our mind should not be focused on what he was talking about. It should be focused, what all the people, the scenarios they are talking about are the scenarios of unsafe abortion. Even the law that we have now that talks about the medical fatalities, where we can have our sisters having problems like the ectopic pregnancies, like HIV mothers, where we are looking at the life of the mother and the life of the fetus that is not yet born. Ladies and gentlemen who are here, you need to remember one thing. How much we like Africa so much, how much we hate the Europeans and Americans. These people, actually, for them, they have already legalized abortions. And they are living much better. Even what we are doing now, we are borrowing a leaf.
But wait a minute, Chief. Yes, they have done so. We also realize that they have done so because of their conditions. First of all, they don't have land. Secondly, they don't have food. What does Africa lack?
Let me give you an example. China is bigger than Africa.
You must, when you put up your hand, you must say what you want to say. If it's a point of correction, I can allow that as fast as I can.
Sir, with due respect, sir, the white folks never woke up one morning and brought this idea. I said it was a systematic process. But first of all, what they did was to try and make you and me in that country, US, to create less job opportunities. We don't have jobs. We don't have things that we can hold on, that we can produce as much as more children as possible. So you yourself, you will see that, do I have the capacity to produce like 6 or 10 children? You ask yourself that, no. Even you as a man standing here right now, the system has affected you because you can't produce more than 6 children or 5 because you say, can I afford to take care of them? That was the system that was introduced to you.
I think he misunderstood me. One, he says that I focused on the dangers.
Yes, disadvantages of abortion. I also agree with you.
I made a statement. Yes. There is no safe abortion because even what they call safe creates post-abortion problems, some of which I enumerated.
Thank you so much.
Two, he's a medical representative. That means he's serving the interests of foreigners, not the interests of our country.
Thank you so much.
This without stammering, that we are unfortunate that we have professionals as doctors who are just protecting their jobs and they are not even coming up to save our lives.
Now there you are.
Submission. However, on the last point regarding safe and unsafe abortions, I have some contradiction. Safe abortion exists unsafe abortion is that kind of abortion where termination of pregnancy is done from a sterile environment that is not infected. Then unsafe abortion is where you find that because abortion is not legalized, you find people are going to whichever place they come across, whether infected or not, then they carry out that kind of abortion. So clearly, safe abortion exists and unsafe abortion exists.
These unsafe abortions, they go, even HIV can even result from there. You work on this, no sterilizing because you're hiding, eventually the chlamydia, the bleeding. There is a very good drug that you give somebody and a person cannot breathe. All the challenges you're talking about, Pastor, and because people do abortions which are not safe. Lastly, he is a spiritual leader. Can he tell us what he has done? Because abortions keep improve even in his church. Even people are getting pregnant every day.
In his church?
Yes.
Are you sure?
They are increasing the percentage. What have they done? They have failed. We need to look at the way we are going to save our girls, our sisters. The only way is to have a safe, you legalize this. If somebody is not ready to have it, you let it go. Simple.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My name is Ramon Okor, student at Road Government Center. Yeah, I thank the organizers for this. I'm also supporting the side of legalizing abortion.
Should be legalized?
Yeah.
So you should have been exterminated a long time ago.
No, not as such. No, don't. Please, there is a way you're taking this motion. You're trying to divert us from the point. Because, according to the way this thing, it has the main groups. We have the pro-choice movement and the pro-life movement, where we are emphasizing whether the mothers should abort or not, and the other part we are emphasizing on whether these fetuses should be gassed out or should be born. But still, I don't think there is anyone who would like to terminate those fetuses. But to some extent, because of these following views. One, when you look, still have to support the other point where they say there are unsafe abortions and the safe abortions. When you look at the unsafe abortions, there is even a certain research that was conducted by the World Health Organization with the Gatam Institute, which said that according to that most unsafe abortions occur when abortion is illegal. Because people are going to carry out those abortions with that knowledge that if I'm caught, I'll be in for it. But if it was legalized and there are safe measures and there are some professional medical services that applied, there wouldn't be any problem with abortion.
Unfortunately, that the people who are discussing this topic are men. You don't know what women go through. Now I'm talking as like a mother. I had a miscarriage of my first.
Yes, I don't get got any boyfriend from senior folk.
Eventually I got, of course, I'm not saying that. But whether you say that abortion is safe or unsafe, there is no abortion which is not painful. Even a miscarriage alone.
But Madam, even giving birth is painful.
Yes. No, in fact, me as a mother, I prefer to give birth than having an abortion or a miscarriage. Remember, you are feeling the pain, but without hope of getting anything. But when I'm to deliver, I get my labor pains, and I know at the end of the day I will have a baby, bouncing child. So that is where I derive my happiness, from that pain.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I know Tisha, a student at LBC.
So,
me, I'm supporting my fellow mother. Of course, I can't allow that. You know, abortion is not good.
So, the holding head here has taken a lot from you. And I thank you very much for giving me this chance to come here. Because I always say, experience is the best teacher. Traveling is knowledge. What we are discussing at the moment, I oppose the some time back when education, they created this question of co-education. Girls and boys in the same class and whatever in the same school and all these things. I knew these consequences. And now we are discussing the problems. We cannot settle peacefully and rightly when you are studying together with ladies. Because at the age 20, 15, 10, my dear friend. So these are the problems we are facing at the moment. This is education in any case. Even at the moment we cannot go back to what we used to do in any case, but at least we must amend. We must do something. We must create laws that keep the girls right and the boys correct. But this question of co-education is the cause of it.
Actually, when I came here, I just wanted, sometimes I go to audiences and I just want to listen. But then people provoke you and you have to say something. I'm a Charles Joseph, I'm part of Team Hadea. What we do is we try to engage society to think about the other side. The pastor here has spoken very rationally today here. But if you found him in a church where the people are drunk on religion, you would say God said abortion is bad and full stop. There wouldn't be any other side. But here we'll give you a platform to get to know, to hear what the other side has to say. He has spoken of trauma. The trauma of the lady aborting. But do you know the trauma that comes with being raped, producing a child, and looking at that child grow up when you don't know the father, and whenever you look at that child, you remember the rape.
Why don't we clap for that?
Child has to grow up and one day ask for his dad, who you don't know and who you can't tell how he got to be. These are very
What point are you raising, Mr. Justice?
These are very complex.
Point of correction? He's going to, okay, you raised the correction. Do you agree that there are rapists in this country or in this world?
Yes.
If they are there and they rape your daughter, do you want that daughter to produce that kid? That's the point you are going to.
Sir, I tell you that even those rapists, if you produce that child and he comes up to be a man, like you sitting there, you will make a name. I tell you that even those rapists, yes, let them produce them and bring them up as human beings like me and you.
Okay, thank you so much. You have made your point.
May her soul rest in peace.
Who is that?
This is Hope to Jasingura,
Oh.
a woman activist, raped,
Yes,
after rape.
I remember. Yeah.
Jasingura was raped when she was young, and she was raped by someone whom he knew, and he was fighting against her education. She managed to keep the pregnancy and produce twins. And she has died, she has left those two children on earth. She has struggled to educate them, and they are living, they are all graduates. She has passed on.
Let me, I don't want to be divisive. That's why I told you, we want being free. Now, what Madam thinks is we don't value life.
You don't.
We value life.
You don't know that.
That is why, initially, I was going to say that the wording of the topic was polarizing. Because when you say should abortion be legalized, then you're splitting the audience into half. The topic should have been, should the abortion laws be amended? Because you have heard from Pastor, there are very many situations where abortion is permissible. Logically, it is something that is unquestionable. Now, the funny thing is, Madam and the Nigerian are very anti-white.
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Look here. It is a choice. It is a great there is what they call assisted suicide. Someone is suffering from cancer for very many years, he's feeling pain, and you don't allow him to take his own life. He no longer has any chance of recovering. So Ugandans, you're going to hear very many questions because you're part of the international community. You have to accept that. But please, the other thing we have to accept. Let us stop, because when we attack whites and we say all whites are bad, we are also being racist, just like we accuse them.
But that's what they are.
Are they not?
Are they not?
I'm very sorry, but I think any person who is rational
As far as I know, if there was no John F. Kennedy, if there was no Abraham Lincoln, slaves would still be in America.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mr. Joseph.
Now, my name is Onesimus Minamas from a broadcaster. I thank Pastor Mario. Pastor Mario, you are so good. You, Dr. Semper, have been loving you so much. And I wish to have these people, like 10 of them, at least in every district. Uganda would be a good country. Now, he began by saying, by wondering, just when you can even break in this? How do you live online? It's like when your parent gives birth to you, and then you say, why did you give birth to me? I mean, why did you produce me? For sure, whoever is supporting this abortion is intellectually impotent. You cannot support abortion. In your normal sense, you can never support abortion. By the way, if you ask yourself, who is saying we should legalize abortion? Where is the origin of this? Where is the origin of this?
These are medical doctors.
From the West.
They have special conditions.
This is an infiltration of the Western.
You throw away that microphone, take off these lights, and then you just go with the West.
Now you can.
Next one, Joseph, you're going to the next week. Let's go. No, let me get the debate.
No,
you go ahead.
He said that you see, these countries, England, the UK, they are legalized this, and they are living much better. That's what he said. They are living much better because they legalize homosexuality. So should also actually legalize homosexuality because they did so. Can you imagine? So if tomorrow they legalize eating human beings, also legalize eating human beings. If they legalize parents marrying their daughters, should also do that because they have done that and are living much better. That is totally intellectual impotence. What is the risk that we are fighting for? We have seen that out of every 100 maternal deaths, we are losing 21 sisters, or 21%. So we are looking at every 100, 21 are dying because they are doing unsafe abortions. And let me tell you, there is nothing, even if we talk, that will stop anybody who feels not ready to have a kid from aborting. They will go ahead. Yes. And there is nothing that is going to stop it. So what should we do? What should we do? As a scientist, from the science point of view, whether you believe it or not, science has it right. There is a safe abortion. And the people who are dying, the 21%, the symptoms,
they are having unsafe.
They are having unsafe abortion because.
And for you saying that as a scientist, there is a safe abortion.
There is a safe, very safe abortion.
Dying because of unsafe abortion. Thank you so much.
How do you solve that problem? By just trying to destabilize those ones that have come to your house? You simply go where? Where do you go?
The source.
The source of those red ants, okay? Yes. So the problems we are having, we are just trying to, we should abort because you know, how many women have died when they are aborting at Malawi because they have been raped for sure? Do all these women who die in this maternal death, do they die because they have been raped and have been trying to abort this to 1%? Why not like that? It's just trying to, use this as an excuse. Now, in summary, in conclusion,
please,
Kato, I really feel so much sorry. Your money educated. You are trying to gather facts that we should take it. Now, you say in Europe they have their money, which we don't have. Who drops this Europe? It's just Africans. It's just Africans in Europe. The slaves are the ones who built this Anglo-American empire, the African slaves. We've been producing raw materials and we give them to these factories in Europe and America. Okay? So you think they have their money? It is actually our money. Please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, moderator, my colleagues on the other side, and Pastor, and Madam Chichocho, and the audience. I want to just say that it was an honor discussing with you this issue. And in making concluding remarks, I want to say that we are facing new frontiers and there are realities that we are facing. As an individual, I want to repeat that I'm a Catholic. I value my faith as an individual. There are things that I kept initially, but just for record purpose, I want to say I'm very conservative as an individual. And though I'm here representing the National Youth Council, at the same time, that is the name of government, I want to say that for us as leaders, we look at the bigger picture. Madam, you were saying up to senior 4, you are dating. Up to now, I am still a virgin up to now. I'm 27 now. Yes, I am 27 now. But you see, that is besides the point. The point is that there are bigger issues that we are attending to here. The reality we are faced with is that over 1,500 young girls are dying of unsafe abortions every year. And this is part of our country. And we need to take cognizance of that. The reality is that the laws of our country permit that under certain circumstances, for instance, and Pastor, by the way, I was a bit surprised that you seem to give the impression that we were in disagreement. But gladly the audience must have noticed that we actually agreed on this point. That there are circumstances under which abortion is permissible in this country. So I want to set the record clear that under those circumstances where the health of a mother is endangered, under those circumstances abortion is actually permitted. And finally, moderator, this is a healthy debate. In this country, we are civilized people. It doesn't matter whether we are Africans or Europeans, we are human beings. And we should be able to address these issues. We should not shy away from them. I want to thank us, and I believe that we need to continue with civilized intellectual discourse. Thank you for God and my family.
My statement is, there is a problem of abortion. It has been going on. Young women are dying and others are dying. Legal or illegal, people are dying. Now, 2, legalizing abortion started in the West. And they are trying to impose it on us by promoting such debates that should we have it, should we not have it. 2, it is unfortunate that Ugandans, especially the professionals, the land, they would be icons of society, are so obsessed by Western trends. They cannot think, they cannot reason, they cannot forge a way forward for their own. Lee Kuan Yew, former premier of Singapore, said, to understand the present and anticipate the future, one must know the past. Enough to have a sense of the history of the people. I've looked at our people, I've looked at the history, I've looked at the circumstances. Laws are not going to solve the problems we have. Let us address the causes of unwanted pregnancies. We save life better than advocating for legalization. Abortion is more expensive than treating malaria. If as a nation we cannot offer treatment for malaria and people are dying because of lack of 15,000 shillings to get, how much does a medical malaria dose cost? 15,000. People lack it and they die. How do you advocate for legalizing abortion whose cost is $130, as Katomukas are saying? What is that much?
First of all, I want to say that
I am told that you are being scared, you almost ran away.
no, let me first set the record clear. I've been insulted, I've been abused so many times, so I'm getting immune. Just because in most cases, I have different views. But I have to say that, you know why I'm offended to Pastor Wale? I'm 36 years, he's about 52. So he's my elder brother. Why I agree with him in most cases? Because it brings the divergent view in a better way. Even when we disagree with Pastor Wale, I still say he must be and give his own opinion, because I value differing arguments in a healthy manner. That's how we can move forward as a country. If all of us agree every time, then we must have something wrong with our brains. So let us agree to disagree. So however much you can insult me and intimidate me, I will still remain with my own view and still respect your own view. Now, why, in my conclusion, why I thought
that we need to look at this thing critically is because, as I've told you, I have worked with young people for the last 15 years, and I've seen these cases happen in Master. Whether you want to mama or not, girls are actively having sex, and you should be aware of that. And as a result, they are having unwanted pregnancies, whether you like it or not. So I was saying, now, if the pastors are saying the prayers, and the prayers work on some and fail on others, okay, and kids go ahead to have sex, why don't we look for better ways of saving the lives of these young ones? That was my plea, number one. And doctors are saying, and they have said it right here, and I want to thank them, the doctors, they were saying that, look, we can have safe abortions, we can save lives. Pastor was good when he told us that, look, I agree on the point of the law where they are saying mothers can have safe abortions under those conditions. So I would ask the pastor that, is that not illegal in terms of the biblical teachings? Because after all, a child unborn will be what? Killed. Logically. But he's sober because he says, okay, medically, I accept. Now, if you can have allowance for mothers, my plea is, how about young people? And young people, I'm talking about youth below 18 what? Years of age. Because they are having sex, number one. Number two, they are having abortions. And number three, they are dying. So my plea was, how would we save them? I'm a father.
And number four, they are having abortion, but they don't have money.
Yes.
So if you legalize it properly, they will say, go to Mulago and
Mulago has a wing where they can go and have several abortions. So you may look at it in a bad way now, but the issue is, it is happening. Finally, let me tell you this, in my own humble opinion. I don't agree with all of you who are racists. And by the way, from Madam George, there we disagree. And my friend from Nigeria and others who think that for us blacks are superior and have the right places than the whites. Who think that the whites are here to rob us. Who think the whites are poor if you lack land. Who told us you know that? Even someone was saying you didn't have food. Now, here, if you are going to have sober debates, you begin to bring your racism there, then you are losing it.
Actually, we finished the discussion.
Let me actually conclude with this.
Please, we finished the discussion.
Let me actually conclude with this. If you say that whites are against you in terms of numbers, why is it for them they have fewer children per family? Why is it for them they have one child or at most two, and for you are having 6? Now, if they are against you, why don't they have so many and for you have so few? So I think we need to be logical. Let us try to think out these issues. Let us try to be sober. Okay? We are saying, yes, you disagree with abortion, but we are saying medically, there are effects. How do we save these innocent lives? It's the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kato. Kato is the director of Halea.